Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers, or I feel like we should retitle this Jess is right about everything, because I feel like Jess's take on this game with Morgan and Lauren over the past
Matt.
several days. I'm not just gassing you up. I'm very, very confident this is true. I think you have been more accurate on this situation than pretty much anybody in the Big Brother fandom, like definitely me included, where I've just sort of been like, okay, you know what? Morgan's gonna get Lauren on the block. That's just gonna be it. She's gonna have what she wanted, but no.
Oh, there's no way. I just feel like Morgan really wanted Vince to put Lauren on the block, that she really wanted to make sure that it was him that did it, to prove that she was chosen over Lauren. This has happened, by the way. Lauren is on the block, and she has promised Vince, don't worry, hours and hours and hours of conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, I promise. She's not going home. She's not the target. All this time I have been like, this is BS. This is a lie. Why would you fight this hard to get her on the block to be like, no problem. She's not going to go home. Why would I fight this hard for her to just go home? I would never. Of course, now Morgan is like, maybe I'll just soft launch her going home. It's just like shocking. Of course, you want her to go home.
Yeah, it's abundantly clear. I was sitting back in, I don't want to say full denial, but in like relative denial going into this veto ceremony, because I was just sitting back and being like, why would she think that Vince would ever go for this? Why would she think that this would work? Like, there's still situations where it could be pretty tricky, but it feels like in this update today, we'll talk about the possibility that something may be brewing here, where it just is Morgan is this sort of subtly getting some things going on this. Like, based on where we are right now, it would not shock me if Lauren does go to jury on Thursday, and beyond all of that, that Vince, you just got to kick Keanu out of the clown car at this point, because then you are going to be driving it around for quite some time.
Oh, Vince is not winning this game now. The fact that he put Lauren up at all, that's the part that's actually shocking to me, that he didn't sit back and see days and days and days and hours of conversation of Morgan pushing him to do this as a huge waving red flag that Lauren is absolutely the target and that she wants her out and she's going to do everything she can to get her on the block so that she can go out. I do not understand why he believed this at all. Instead, it just feels like he got badgered so hard that he finally was like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just going to put her up. You know, you promised me she's not going home. Okay, great. Then, you know, we all get what we want, sort of thing. And he just fell into it that way. But it is easily one of the worst game moves that he's made of a player that I've been pretty high on this season. Now, yeah. I know not everybody likes Vince, and I'm not saying that I like Vince either. What I am saying is that he has played a really good game this season with his mirroring, with making people feel heard, having really good relationships with people feeling really good about themselves, until he won that second HOH and it started to unravel. This HOH, the one I told you not to win, Vince, he decided to win it, and now he's in this exact position that I said he was going to be in, and he has completely ruined his game by putting her on the block. He deserves to lose. I said it. I am completely out of the clown car with Vince now. I am so done with it. This is some of the worst gameplay of the season.
We have clearly so much to talk about. There is a full story from today that we have to share, but before we get into any of it, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we have a lot more daily Big Brother 27 updates coming your guys' way. And beyond all that, in just a matter of days on Prime Video is the premiere of Gen V Season 2. If you guys love The Boys, there is a spinoff called Gen V. It's set in a superhero college. The show is really funny. It's super absurd. Like, we love The Boys universe, but we're going to be doing weekly reviews of Gen V throughout the entire season, so we hope you guys check those out as well.
Yeah, we're also covering Only Murders in the Building right now. There's a lot of great stuff coming up here at the channel, so hit that subscribe button and stick with us. And if you want to talk more Big Brother with us, we're having lots of chat and banter going on over on our Patreon, and I'll leave a link for you below.
Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate
Yeah.
that. Okay, we're going to start this off here by jumping into a small time machine because we're not going to go back
Oh,
that far in time.
okay. Beep, beep, bop, boop.
Okay.
Okay, we're back a little bit in time.
All right, we're back right before the veto ceremony, and this is coming on the heels, as we have documented, 36 hours straight of long, agonizing Morgan and Vince conversations.
Bruh.
It felt like, okay, everything has seemingly been finalized at this point. Like, Vince loops in Lauren before the ceremony, tells her what has happened, has made it clear that he has had every assurance in the world that she is going to be okay. She's going to be safe. Nothing is going to happen to her. Like, she's still really upset and disappointed, but this is Vince. Vince does not want to blindside anybody. Vince just wants to talk them to death. So she knew what was coming in during the ceremony through that lens.
Yeah, and that was the right thing to do. Vince doesn't try really to blindside anybody in that way. So, and it was the right thing to do. You don't want people leaving the house feeling like a clown, but the clown here is Vince.
Yes. So, okay. After the veto ceremony is done.
Where Morgan has used the power of veto on Ava.
Yes. So Ava is now off the block. We are now in a situation where it is Keanu, Kelly, Lauren. One of them is heading to jury in the first part of the double eviction.
Mm-hmm.
So
where then Vince will follow right after. I feel like he's going home in this.
There's a good chance. So really, Vince and Lauren seemed okay after the veto ceremony. And it was like they were talking about, okay, what's the angle for how we can try to explain this moving forward? And it seems like the solution was that, okay, Vince, if you and I continue to work together, we'll tell everybody that you really owe me because of what I am doing for you. You have to do my bidding after this. And that's something that I can try to use if people come to me and they're like, well, why would you want to work with Vince? Vince put you on the block. Like in the world of Big Brother, everything does need like some sort of reason for why it's going on.
Absolutely. There has to be some sort of story attached to it. And for me, none of these stories make any sense. I don't know why anybody's going to be believing them. I really don't.
No, and that's why I feel like somewhere in the back of Lauren's mind, like she's probably got this nagging fear about all of this because I think anyone in her position would, because it's one thing for Vince to tell her this. And Lauren's even said this many times. It's like, yeah, Vince, I know you believe it and I trust you, but you're not some of the people that are directly voting. Like Vince only votes in the event of a tiebreaker here. It's everyone else, especially Morgan and Ashley, that Lauren is really terrified of.
And she should be. Vince has no way to really assure her of anything. Like the fact that, Morgan's been pushing so hard to get her on the block. I mean, it's not good, man. It's not. Yeah. How is everybody living in this delusion?
Yeah, it's just completely baffling. And this is just sort of why, okay, Lauren has to know or be afraid of something deep in her heart of hearts. She knows that Morgan has been pushing for her. But after all of this goes down at the veto ceremony, we actually have a rare conversation where both Morgan and Lauren are present and actually talking to each other. Yeah. And in this conversation, Morgan tries to assure Lauren, and she's just like, I know that you're in danger. I know you're afraid. I really don't want you to go. I would not do Vince dirty like that. Me and Vince, we've been very, very, very close. He values you a lot. So I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize the relationship that I have with him. Like, that's what she is saying right now.
Sure.
Okay, like, here's the thing. I don't think Morgan is necessarily going to do something that completely blindsides Vince, but at the same time, like, she can strong arm him into doing something or going along with whatever she wants because we have just gone through what that looks like for 36 hours.
Well, here's the thing about it. If Morgan decides to blindside Vince, what's Vince going to do about it? Because the only other real ally he had is going out the door, and that's Lauren. So now his only real ally is Morgan. So at that point, what can Vince do? And he cannot play in this next HOH, so he is just going to have to play ball.
I think that's probably going to be a conversation that very much comes up over the days ahead. Like you had the clairvoyance on this week already, so I do think that conversation will be coming. Like right now, we're in a spot where Morgan, of course, wants to feel like she has a reason for everything as well. Mm-hmm. So there's basically two justifications that she's giving as to why Lauren is on the block at this point and Ava is not. Like one of them is the blockbuster is coming. Kelly is someone that I really want out of the game. Kelly is a target. Ava's, yeah, she won an HOH that she wasn't picked to like answer a question for until really, really late. Lauren's much more of a competition threat, more likely to win the blockbuster than her. She's also saying that, saving Ava is a thank you because of what happened with the Riley vote many, many weeks ago. And, that was a crazy vote, and Ava did decide the last second. So it's a good smokescreen, but that's really not what this is about.
Yeah, I mean, then where's the question of why not Ashley? Why not Ashley? Why not Ashley?
I'm just sitting here and just wondering all these different things. With the why not Ashley is a big one.
Yeah, like that would be my question if I'm Lauren, to be like,
Yeah.
okay, Morgan, you're working closely with Vince. I'm also working closely with Vince. We three are all working closely with Vince in this way. Why then me over Ashley, who is not working with Vince? Like, why is it me? That would be where my head is.
And the other thing that I will be stuck on for the remainder of the week is just that why did you not save Keanu and just leave Ava on the block and guarantee one of these three go? And that basically assures you're either getting rid of Kelly or you're getting rid of Lauren. And it kind of removes all other variables. Like my tinfoil hat on all of this is I think that Ashley's closeness with Ava is at least one part of this. And this is why, Ashley, we see you continuing to sort of pull your own little strings here
Absolutely.
behind the scenes.
I just wonder why, and I know that Lauren is frustrating for a lot of people with her, like, I don't know, and I'm not having these conversations, and I'm wishy-washy, whatever. But like, now is the time to be asking those questions. If you actually have Morgan's ear and you're sitting with her and you're talking with her and Morgan is feeding you these stories, and there's a choice of two people that could go up and you're both working with Vince, why wouldn't you really focus in on these types of questions to be like, okay, well, great, you've taken Ava off the block, wonderful, but like, then why me over Ashley? Explain yourself, and like really explain yourself on that. Or more so even with Vince, to be like, okay, great, Morgan has taken Ava off the block. Okay, why would you put me up over Ashley, who you are not working with? Like, where are these questions? And this is why, as much as I've also been a bit of a Lauren defender, and I think that there's a lot of things she's done right in this game, these are the questions that needed to be asked at this point. And maybe those questions will come up much further, but it's not happening at the moment the way that it should.
Okay, here's my comparison, because we both still we're looking forward to the next season of Survivor, but we also still have
can't wait.
we have season 48 still on the brain a little bit, and there's a little Mitch quality to Lauren, where
true.
Lauren is always kind of like
Big game Mitch.
yeah, like you're gonna see
Make
a
a move,
real
Mitch.
conversation with me coming up. The real Lauren's about to break through, and she talks all this, and it never happens, and it's just like, yeah, sometimes Lauren is blunt and honest with Vince, but it's just one of the reasons why it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for Lauren in this situation is just that you are the one in jeopardy this week. You really have made zero effort all season to kind of try to get to know Morgan, and I know Morgan's never really been that interested in you either, but or Ashley. It's just that you could have tried a lot harder, and it feels like you just locked in on your little group of people, and because a lot of people from that group won HOH at various points, or there were bigger targets, you've been fine. But now, like, the real weakness in your game, it's becoming more and more present.
It absolutely is. And I know that over the seasons, there are lots of people that find a small group and just ride with them to the end, or hope that they get to the end and don't make it to the end. But you really do need to be more adaptable than this. I mean, yourself and Kelly are part of this group and you're both on the block.
Like, let's just talk about...
And Vince, your ally, put you on the block. Like, what is happening here?
So for Vince and Morgan as a collective, like, let's just talk about them together at this point. The idea is, okay, let's just get rid of Kelly, but let's also make sure that Lauren is okay with this move. So they already together tried to really make it seem like Kelly just lies all the time. Lauren, you can't trust her. Like, they're trying whatever reason to push those two apart. And I think a part of this just really has to do with the idea that if we come down to a vote here between Kelly and Keanu, that Lauren ends up winning the blockbuster, I think, and this is crazy in itself, that Keanu may actually end up being safe and they would rather see Kelly go in that instance.
Kelly needs to go. Like
I know.
I understand that Lauren and Ava have been kind of using Kelly as part of their little alliance or whatever, but they know they can't trust her really when
Yes.
it comes down to it. Kelly is just a wild card.
Yeah, she's a wild card. She's a loose cannon. So they're trying to just paint this picture to Lauren. Okay, Kelly's first. Keanu will be the next target after that. And then, and this is something we have to circle with like a big permanent marker,
Mhm.
Vince says to Morgan and Lauren, this is my ideal top three. So he makes that clear. Morgan's going to use that information a little bit later on.
Mhm.
But they also continue this conversation for a little bit more. And Lauren indicates that it's like, okay, if this is a Keanu Kelly situation, I'll probably vote to evict Keanu, and Vince, you can break the tie. And he's just like, okay, like I'm fine to do that. I know Vince hasn't loved to make decisions all this time, but I do think that he would relish in the idea of getting rid of Kelly at this point.
Here's the thing about the conversation of this is the top 3.
Yeah.
For Morgan, I'd be like, cool, I'd actually take that, because at this point, the way that Morgan, I don't love the way that she just like badgered him into doing this. But this is Morgan's HOH. She has decided what is
Yes.
going on here. And this is a huge move that she's going to be able to claim, besides her veto wins at the end of this, over the two of them. Vince has burned his game. Like, it is
Yeah.
just up in smoke at this point. She will beat Vince. And I think that she is just going to be able to badger the jury into voting for her. Over Lauren, who will be sitting there being like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to own anything. I don't know. Like, Morgan will beat them both. If I was Morgan sitting there, I'd be like, I'm all right with this.
Yeah, I think Morgan is in the driver's seat of this game at this moment. Like, I
Yes, she
feel like,
is.
yeah, I think she would win no matter who she's up against. I mean, Ashley has a good case, but I feel like at the same time, it's going to be harder for Ashley to explain her whole game in a short amount of time. And Morgan's got very clear, very explainable things right now.
Yes, that people have seen. Like, it's one thing to kind of be sneaky behind the scenes, and then you have to try to reveal that you did this, kind of like Kyle winning last season, and
Yes.
the things that he was able to reveal and make it very specific that he was the person that was behind these things. Lauren's not going to be able to do
No,
that.
oh my
It's
gosh.
just, and I think Morgan will be able to do that, but I don't know if Ashley will be able to. I know she's a lawyer and she's great at explaining things,
Yeah.
but this week and this move is so very obviously Morgan is controlling this.
Yeah, 100%.
And everybody who's in there who will end up in jury is watching it.
All right, so here is where things get really, really messy. All right, so let's all be stage manager here for a moment. We've been having this Vince, Lauren, Morgan conversation. Morgan eventually leaves. Lauren is now like, hold up just a second here, Vince. Yeah, you put me on the block. You do owe me something. So why don't we just suggest this? That why don't we just get rid of Keanu instead of Kelly? If you're the tiebreaker vote, why does Morgan get to control who you're going to get rid of this week? Why not just go ahead and get rid of Keanu instead? And Vince is, of course, like, sure, all right, let's do. So, Vince, once again, you have promised two different things to different people. If we end up with Keanu versus Kelly, which you are probably hoping and praying never happens, you're going to tick off someone yet again.
Absolutely. This is now why Vince is just unable to win, and he really needed to just win a lot less HOHs, and I think he actually could have balanced this a lot better for a lot longer, but he has been playing the whatever you want to hear, you're going
Yes.
to hear it game, and that can get you far, as we're watching with Vince and we watched with Tyler before too.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to make a choice because everybody thinks you're their number one and they're
Yes.
not.
At some point, you have to stand on business. And it just feels like Vince is really incapable of that. Or he just feels like, I can stand on business in this situation. So I'm just going to put all of my, theoretical coins that this is going to be the outcome. And unfortunately for Vince, it very rarely ever is.
Yeah, things have not gone the way that he has thought by doing this, by telling everybody what they want to hear. It has blown up in his face so many times. There's not enough time left in this game for him to undo this.
And what makes all of this really just especially funny, to me anyway, is that Lauren has already hinted at the idea that, okay, if I do, for whatever reason, go out this week because of something that Morgan did, because she has certainly told Vince that Morgan is controlling his HOH.
And
She's
she is.
Lauren's just like, well, I'm just going to give the credit and the vote at the end to Morgan then, because
Yep.
Morgan is the person who's actually made this move. So, okay, after all of this, Morgan talks to all of us via the cameras, and we get a little bit more insight onto where she is with everything, which is pretty nice. She makes it clear, no way she's going to the final three with Lauren. Like, she's just not having that at all.
She should, though. I mean, she would beat Lauren. Like, I understand that she's got a problem with Lauren, but, don't you want to win the money?
Well, one thing I was curious about for a while is she keeping Ashley or trying to keep Ashley around because she might want to cut Vince at the end and go to the end with Ashley, but not so much. Apparently, she just wants Ashley to the final three, and her final three is herself, Ashley, and Vince, just because she feels like Ashley's going to be very, very easy to beat, and she wants to go to the end with Vince. Like, that is her ideal outcome.
Yeah, and she'll beat Vince.
Okay, so now we flash forward a couple of hours to a little bit later this afternoon. So Morgan has taken her time with this. She didn't immediately start the badgering engines like right away with Vince.
Yeah.
But then it happens. So she starts to Vince complaining already about having to keep Lauren around for Vince, because it's like, Lauren has already put me in danger. Like, why do I have to continue to put up with it? Like, why do we have to keep her in the game, Vince?
Yeah, this is and it's going to continue on after this.
Yes.
I'm saying it right now. She was going to badger Vince into putting up Lauren because she wanted him to pick her over Lauren. He has now done this. Now she's going to need Lauren to get out of the house. I'm telling you now, next week it's going to be, why did it take so long for you to agree to this? Like, why did I have to have 30-hour conversations with you to do this? And it's going to turn into that.
Yes.
This isn't going to be as satisfying to Morgan as she thinks it is, because it already isn't. She's gotten what she wants. She's got Lauren on the block. Vince doesn't control the vote unless it's in a tie. So why are you even talking to Vince about this? This is why. I feel that it's because she had to twist his arm to get Lauren on the block, and she's not feeling satisfied about this.
I think she's not satisfied about this. She's upset about this. And I think she's also trying to find a way, because she may know that if it's a tie vote, it's going to be very hard to imagine Vince getting rid of Lauren. But I mean, who knows? Maybe she will badger him enough that he actually does it. But
she actually got him to put Lauren on the block, which is wild.
I think she is also just soft launching this idea that, okay, Keanu's going to win the blockbuster, which is reasonably likely at this point, depending on what it is. Keanu would certainly love to get rid of Lauren because he feels like Lauren stabbed him in the back this past HOH cycle. If Ashley, Morgan, Keanu all vote to evict Lauren, there is no tie, and then she just heads out the door.
Yep.
I think that would be an ideal situation for Morgan if she can make that happen, depending on what goes. But she doesn't want to blindside Vince, so I think she's just starting to plant a couple of seeds. Vince has come with a pretty good comeback to all of this, though. And he was basically just like, I need Lauren here as a safeguard because you have Ashley. Why is it okay for you to have someone who you're clearly closer to than I am, but it's not okay for me to have that same thing?
And where was that talk before you put Lauren on the block? You deserve what you're getting at this point, Vince, because that's absolutely correct.
Yes.
Why is it okay for Morgan to have Ashley, but it's not okay for you to have Lauren? That conversation should have been had at the beginning of all of these conversations to end the conversations, and they're done, to just be like, and that's it. I'm not doing it.
It's so frustrating because it felt like he said literally every other possibility in his head other than the one that is the most clear and direct. But Morgan even took issue with this because she was just like, but it's the judges, Vince. We have to get to the end as the judges. And I'm just like, he doesn't care about the judges.
The judges are over.
Yeah, it's like Vince has never really cared that much about the judges. And like, she's already like suggesting that the only way she'll fully really trust Vince is in the event that Lauren hits the block again. So she's not saying this week, but that Lauren hits the block again down the road and Vince gets rid of her himself. Then she'll really know that she can trust him fully.
Yeah, it has to be Vince. He has to pick Morgan. He has to send Lauren home. Is the only thing that is going to make Morgan happy, except it won't, because she's had to badger him into it. She will never be satisfied by this.
Yeah, and she's very upset about the whole this is the top 3 thing because she's just sort of like, what if I don't want that to be the top three? Like, what are you saying this to me? Like, this is very frightening to me because you want to take somebody there who isn't going to want to take me, Vince. Like, how am I supposed to deal with all of this?
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
totally fair. Morgan is completely right. Lauren will not take Morgan. Why would she ever want Lauren there?
Yeah, and so Morgan, okay, so she's already planted a couple of seeds here when it comes to Vince, but she's not done planting seeds elsewhere at this point. So she's gone to Keanu, who, as we have said, is more than happy to get rid of Lauren anyway.
Yeah.
But she's kind of deposited this idea in his head where it's like, okay, Keanu, so Lauren's over here telling Vince that if he nominates her, that she's gonna be totally done with him. It's like, can you believe that, Keanu? Do you really want to work with somebody like that? Like, think about how scary that is, Keanu.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here and being like, yeah, Lauren not wanting to work with somebody who nominated her is totally valid.
It is totally valid.
Like, that's all just totally fine. And I think that Lauren is, in my view, still kind of sort of working with him. Like, I don't think she's completely done with him, but I think it is a situation where she's going to consider her other options even more so than she was before.
Absolutely. I'm just going to say this right here, right now, man. I really hope Lauren wins this blockbuster and that Morgan just freaks out. Like, I don't want to see any more of these, like, 30-hour conversations anymore, but it's going to bring the most delicious drama. Like, Kelly just needs to go, and that'll be that.
Yeah, then we go into the double. Lauren's still there, out for vengeance. Keanu is still there. We have all of the entertaining players at that point, like 100% left in the game.
Absolutely. Wouldn't it be just so sweet if in this next one, since we have the double, Lauren wins it and just kicks Vince out? Then it's Lauren versus Morgan, which I'm more excited about at this point.
At that point, like this, Keanu
They're
is
both playing better games than Vince.
At this point, yeah. Like, Keanu has talked this whole season about the plot, and since, the he and Rachel plot is done, like, yeah, the Lauren and Morgan plot, like, that is one of the most entertaining things that is left, especially now, because, like you're suggesting, Lauren's eyes are open. She's getting increasingly paranoid. It's our first time on the block. Like, she just overheard Vince and Morgan laughing in the bedroom. Like, she doesn't really know the context of anything. And she's starting to vent, freak out to Kelly about it, wondering, like, Vince was acting like he was so upset and so burdened, but he had to make this move. Like, what is there to really laugh about?
Yeah, I mean, Lauren. This has been such a ride with Lauren because, like, when she first started this season, I was really pro Lauren. I felt like she was going to really do well in this game. She has done well in this game. I mean, she's gotten really far, but there's been so much wishy-washy of this. And I understand that there's been this sort of like, she's really put into Vince over and over and over again. And now it's so close to the end and her eyes are being opened, but like, it took you hitting the block with Vince being the person to put you on to make that happen. Like, there's been other red flags, Lauren.
Yes, there have been so many. There's been a sea of red flags. All right, finally here, let's have another little talk here about Ashley, who, if we want to make like a Game of Thrones comparison to this season,
I like it.
It feels like a lot of these other characters are either House Stark, House Lannister. Ashley is over here as Varys, where she's just like having conversations and letting her little birds go all over the place. And she has just, amidst all this chaos, has just gone and had a conversation with Ava. And she is just like, Lauren, I know you think Lauren is your friend, but when Lauren was HOH, she put Will up there. And Will, he's your friend. It didn't really seem like Lauren really took your feelings into consideration all that much, Ava. Like, how are you feeling about all of this?
Let's go, Ashley.
Ashley is just, I love her so much right now. Like, she is just getting increasingly diabolical. Really, really interesting. Like, she's already made it pretty clear that, like, she would want Lauren out in a hypothetical situation. Like, she's not going to stick her neck out in order to do it and sort of expose the game in which that she's playing. But it just seems very much that she's in this school of thought of, okay, much like in a Game of Thrones universe, I'm going to let these bigger families take each other out, and I'm going to come in and just sort of pick up all these little scraps and then just bring them to me. And then that's going to be the argument I'm able to make at the end of this.
Absolutely. Speaking of Game of Thrones, Night of the Seven Kingdoms was announced, coming early next year by HBO, and also House of the Dragon Season 3 coming up as well. Just to let you guys know, we are going to be covering both.
I'm very excited to get back to Westeros again, and
Yes.
I'm very excited and or concerned about what the next 48 hours are going to look like in
I
this game.
know.
There might be a lot of badgering, there might be a lot of back and forth, but let's
Yep.
just throw this over to you guys now. Do you think that Morgan is actually going to be able to get rid of Lauren this week? How many long conversations with Vince will it take? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any more updates that are coming up, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have a link in the description for that. Thank you so much for supporting us. Like, we really appreciate that, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you here next time.